About Trump and Musk. Of course, with an abundance of money, ambition and opportunity, certain falling outs are inevitable. Someone's always frowning at something. Understandable. If you haven't noticed, it happens constantly. In your family, with colleagues, with friends, on public transport, everywhere. Now just imagine it happening not on your low water level, but among millionaires, billionaires even. One commands tens of thousands of people as a businessman, the other millions, because he's at the helm of the state. Well, he doesn't directly command, but still, many lives depend on him, and he designs new legislation. Try to grasp it, how intense such a life must be, and how all these ambitions and opportunities can daze a person's head. Whopping opportunities and crazy lifestyle. Yes, I do say crazy, and I mean it, because I personally know a great many well-heeled zillionaires and oligarchs, and they live like absolute idiots. Once opportunity knocked and they hit the jackpot. Well done, that's all very fine, but if you're intellectually deprived, have no taste, and your life is arranged like a John hip, then it's no wonder they drive themselves straight into the abyss. Their lives are a basket case, and plenty of them are wasting away in the loony bin, where shrink frauds squeeze every penny out of them. Musk is an incredibly gifted man, very sharp and on the ball in his areas like business, engineering, innovation, something in the IT sphere. He's a bright guy, but when it comes to private life and modus vivendi, that's another story. That's why he sprays his sperm into every nook and cranny he can find, not to mention the in vitro insemination tubes. This chump genuinely believes he can outbreed Africa by sheer personal effort. But that's absurd. You don't need to compete with anybody in idiocy, only in intellect. That's the one realm worth fighting for. Intelligence is what separates us from animals. Well, us, meaning not all of us. This is our main difference, and this is how we must compete with each other. Quality stands above quantity. However, for Musk, quantity clearly prevails, especially in the field of fertility. Which is why he showed up at the White House with a bruise, allegedly delivered by one of his own kiddos. What a charming boy he must be. Another fine spoil of his pizzle is a pea-headed fellow who identifies himself as a girl. Well, completely barmy, this one. And why did it happen this way? Because nobody cared for that child. What do I mean by care? If you buy yourself a cat or a dog, you're now responsible, or you and everyone else will regret it. And when it comes to a child, that means hyper-responsibility. All your effort, all your time and mental health, it must all be sacrificed for the child. And even if you do sacrifice it, the result may still disappoint you, but it's your duty. That's the only way. It's either that or disaster. And even if you do care, there might be other factors like genetics, for example. Still, children need care, and Musk neglected them. Some of them are complete strangers to him. He doesn't care, and he said so himself, because he only cares about quantity. There are dozens of them. Dozens. What conclusion can we draw? He has certain mental fixations, and don't you get confused thinking, oh, but he's so good at this or that. Yes, he is. He might have a knack for one thing and completely fail at another. It's absolutely normal for a person to be miscellaneous and inconsistent. Humans are hardly ideal. Well, you might know one who is. Add to the story another incident when Musk pushed the Secretary of the Treasury Mr. Besant in a corridor. Such imbecility, a complete lack of culture and brains. Can you believe it? Let's say you've got billions of dollars. You are the richest man on earth, and yet you are still craving new business contracts. Instead of devoting yourself to science or art or making love or having sex or traveling and marveling at nature, hundreds of lifetimes wouldn't be enough to imbibe all what the world offers, but all he can think about is more contracts.
Вот начинается еще контракты, еще что-то и так далее. Это
This is madness, mental fixation and addiction. Besides, there is a chance he's taking some nasty chemicals. I always frowned at that stuff. I'm not saying it's dope, but some pills, the kind those frauds in doctor suits love to prescribe for depression and other such nonsense. That too I detest. I'm generally set against chemical junk and jabs. It has no real impact, and even if it does, it's bad for you.
кто там, где антидепрессант, где еще что-то. Я очень сильно, так сказать, против этой всей химии и дури. Она не работает, а вернее работает в минус.
Oh, and let me tell you something amusing. I said it about a year ago in one of my live streams. Don't touch those useless and frankly harmful antidepressants. And guess what? Just recently I found something in my spam folder. A message from a deranged head shrinker writing to me. Picture this. Sky blue hair with streaks of green flying in opposite directions, half brushed at best, unkempt, unruly, a mess inside and out, and she was pierced like a bovine. You know those nose rings they put on cows? She's a textbook idiot. If someone ever puts together an illustrated dictionary, her picture deserves a full page spread under I for idiot. Slap her photo right there.
Просто вот дебилки, если брать иллюстрированный словарь или букварь, можно там дебилка, идиотка ее, значит, персону.
And she says, "Oh, so you're against antidepressants, but I've been dispensing them to everyone for years. To everyone my foot. She's a menace." And then she tops it off with, "I've been taking them myself for 8 years." Of course you have. I checked her page. Turns out she's a practicing shrink, no less. People like her ought to be locked up for life. To put it squarely, first, stop picking up gossip. Second, get a personal life of your own. I mean, you're supposed to have one. If some billionaires are settling scores with each other, it's none of your business. That story is old news now. They shook hands while you were still fussing. Musk deleted all those tweets and is already patching things up. Suppose it happens again. Then what? Stop being addicted to someone else's life. It's a big mistake.
Это большая ошибка.
However, if you want me to answer this question scientifically, this dumb, minuscule question of no importance, then hear me out. In this situation, Trump's demeanor was adequate, wise and intelligent. He didn't instigate the conflict Musk had started. He tried to extinguish it. As you've probably noticed, extinguishing conflicts is a habit of his. Be it Russia and Ukraine, Iran and Israel, the Middle East or the Far East, he puts out fires everywhere. Trump so far stands as a banner of wisdom. That's a fact, plain and simple. He is the only one this eager to reconcile any quarrel. He even asked J.D. Vance to avoid unpleasant remarks about Musk, just so the guy wouldn't get riled up. All he said was, well, let's hope he comes back. And when the strife hit full boil after some contract Musk wanted got declined, Trump still welcomed him into the White House and handed him a key as a gift. Then, in front of the press, he called him a great guy. You see, he always leaves the door ajar. That's the stance of a wise man, and, by the way, of a truly genial fellow. Remarkable considering his life as a hard-boiled egg with billions in the bank and a web of high-level connections. That's a rare trait. So yes, Trump is not only wise but still human. These are exceptional qualities, and yet no one seems to notice it or said it aloud. Primates, as a rule, are jaundiced, stupid and blind. Their lives are stirred only by affectations and envy. That's about it. A wise man, if he is wise indeed, does not stray from the chosen trajectory of his actions. Whether he is 20, 30, 40 or 80, whatever post he holds, be it a petty position or the helm of the state, he does not turn away. Remember this once and for all. If something goes astray, it means he is not very smart. Either the circumstances compel him or criminal schemes are in play. He carries on bringing peace wherever possible, in every sphere, stratum and direction. Of course, if someone's off his onion and refuses to calm down, well then, he can't just bomb the troublemaker without fomenting global tension. Where bombs are instruments, big troubles are the consequence. Besides, Trump's approach is really subtle. By merely stating his position, he already accomplishes plenty. That's a fact. Just look, something absolutely inconceivable has occurred, long deemed impossible during these years of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Europeans have actually increased their military budget thick and fast. You'd never expect leftists to do anything of the sort. It's been a long-awaited measure, one they've consistently denied and abnegated. And besides, they're broke. And why broke? Because they spent money not to defend their country, but to bankroll its enemies, letting in Islamists and African junkies. This is how Europeans squandered taxpayer money. However, by pushing and poking and plucking, Trump made it possible. That's a win. Not just a global win, but an epical one. Decades have passed and nothing like this has ever occurred. The rising tide of aliens against the USA has been managed. That's the game. Mexico, Colombia and Canada can no longer violate American borders by funneling in illegals. The gate is closed. He crushed them by imposing tariffs. And Europeans, they've also pulled back and are ready to negotiate. These are some significant achievements, and I repeat, Trump is a peacemaker. He's not aiming for adventures that will only make things worse. It is unwise to queer the affairs, isn't it? Alas, most people don't get it at all.